Hello world, let's do some DJI avata test flights. So how do we do it? We just start in normal mode. But I see, well anyway, I think trees are above me, so return home option is not a way of considering this flight. So here we are, let's fly out. Let's start. The benefits of this drone compared to FPV ones is that you can easily fly in normal mode. So I'll show you what I mean by normal mode. Wait, I'll check how one of my batteries is very weak. Okay, this is not the weak battery. So I'm right now flying FPV mode. So I just check the battery whether it's pushing good. So if you fly in FPV mode, it's very nice to fly, first of all. The second is I can adjust the angle mid-flight. So if I want to capture more nature right here, I can adjust the angle while I'm flying. It's not possible in different drones, so that's a deep benefit. Let's just not crash here, and let's do a flip. Yeah. We're flying very fast for a shooting scene. Let's reduce the angle and reduce the speed. I'm a little away from the trees, so my coverage gets noisy a little bit, but still it's very good. So anyway, now I decided I want to do a shot, like a beautiful filming scene. So what I do is just click normal mode, fly a little bit low. Okay, my zone is still okay. Okay, zone is a little bit bad. Let's not film the camera. Let's film, the sun. Let's film a little bit below. And let's just follow the river. The thing is, these picture what I see in goggles right now, it's pretty pixelated. So I don't see actually the small bushes and everything. So it's a little dangerous to fall in them because I don't want to get my drone. I don't want to go and get it. So I'll fly just a little bit higher than I need to. And keep a little bit safe distance. So I'm already having a red zone. Who's there? Somebody's collecting bushes. Anyway, I think I know that guy. And let's just fly back. I don't like that the feet are there on the ground. Footprints. Let's just follow the river. Those of you are not familiar with DJI products or any drones at all, the coverage gets really bad if the drone is behind something like a tree or a house. Sometimes it can even lose the signal. So what happens then? DJI decides he wants to fly back. So if he by any chance decides to fly back, you have to be aware that there shouldn't be any obstacles on the place where he decides to fly back. So what it means is I'm with my car now below a tree, and if he decides to fly back, the drone will fly pretty high up. And then the drone will fly back, and he will not care if are there trees or not trees, and it will basically crash in the tree which is above me. Right there where my car sits. So you have to keep in mind that. Another way is if you lose a signal below a tunnel, it will most likely crash inside the tunnel. So anyway, now that we have tested like a shoot scene, we wanna switch to like a FPV mode. We wanna do something fun. So let's. This drone compared to Avata 1 is like day and night. This is much better. So I will not be flying pretty fast. Like let's keep an angle of 8. I can see the angle right there. Okay, the battery still has something inside. Let's go below this tree. Let's do a low road. It's a little bit lower. Still a little bit lower. It doesn't go lower. It's like a protection or something. And let's go way up and way back. Let's do a nice low race. It'll be a nice shot. That's me right there sitting. Let's do a tight turn, like a race turn. Imagine there's a gate, we spin around, we do full throttle, we fly back. Make the angle larger. Let's do a loop right here. Not a loop, but a turn between the gates. We're doing 80 kilometers an hour, 85, 86, 85 an hour. We are out of battery almost. We do one flip, we fly back. Let's do a skyfall. I can feel the battery is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, so we have to come back. The problem is right here, if the battery is very weak, it all of a sudden will just lose the power and the drone will fall down. So let's say I'm now at 45% battery life. I have to plan it safe every time when it's below 50. Yeah, I have to fly it safely, otherwise I will crash the drone. Of course, the people say there's DJI Care who will give you just a new drone if you crash it, but I don't care. I just want to fly safe. But DJI Care also doesn't care. I'm not that good a pilot with DJI drones, but in simulators I can do pretty good things. Right here is the problem. If I want to do a power loop, let's turn it around. I'm not sure if I'll be back on the same line. Another thing is, if you fly like a DJI drone, and not a professional normal drone, is it has a prop wash and it has a death turn. What's a death turn is basically when you turn really sharply. It can just eventually do like something like this and fall down. So you have to keep in mind. So, okay, I feel my battery is getting weaker. I will not do hard push right now. Just do a turn. And we are getting into my conclusion that the batteries wear out pretty fast. I mean, like with an ordinary drone, you could not fly this long with the drone. Let's fly back. It's already suggesting me I need to turn back home. So I switched to normal mode and I will just fly normally to my car. With sports drones, you cannot do that because you need to fall down somewhere or slowly land it yourself. But with DJI, what I can do is I can just land on the car without any problems. I'll do that right now. So yeah, it's pretty useful for filming. It's pretty useful if you want to do some tricks with the drone. It turns off pretty fast also. Let's get the drone. But it's not very useful if you want to do some heavy duty stuff, like if I would want to fly with 200 kilometers per hour. It's my last battery right now. I will not fly. I flew my other batteries already. So what I mean by battery getting dead is that those batteries don't last long. What happens is every time you fly the next time, the power of those batteries, the strength that the drone can have, is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So now I know that these two batteries, which I fly, this one and the previous one, is pretty good, but one of them especially this one, is not that good anymore. Either it's damaged, or either the previous owner didn't use like random batteries, like constantly used one battery and didn't change them oftenly. So one battery has more cycles than the other. So eventually what happens is, I don't know why, the goggles show me that there's 50% power left in the battery, the weak one. But the thing is, what happens is, if I will change the mic from the other side. If I start flying FPV mode, like manual mode, the battery will tend to start falling down from the sky. One time I did like a 500-meter downfall. I don't know, the battery got cold or something, but eventually when I was already near the ground, the drone lost power. All signal, goggles, everything was it, but it didn't have the power to lift the drone. So it just fell down and crashed in the ground. So it still was 50% of the battery life, but you could lose your drone because of that. So I try to fly, if I flew FPV mode, I don't use more than 50%. Right now I had 30%, I return home, and I don't do anything else with the drone. So 30% and come back home. Because at 20%, it will fly on its own back home. And it's a high risk. Eventually, in my case, most of my crashes happens when the DJI does something, especially when it turns back home. And when you are below 10%, it will just tell me, sorry guy, I'm landing down. I don't care what's underneath me. Just try to catch me. So eventually you're flying over lakes and your forests or everything, or houses or in the tunnels, whatever. You have to keep in mind that keeping battery above 50% is like a normal procedure. So if you're getting below 40, so keep in mind, don't fly anywhere where the drone will decide to fly back home, or don't fly over anything where the drone will start falling down and hit the ground. So that's like that's my recommendation. But overall, I'll put some more videos in this video. I mean, like flight videos. So let's say it simple. It doesn't have a horizontal leveling system. So if you want to do some beautiful video shots, you will get these angles, and you'll need to do some software or use the horizontal stabilization function, which is right here, and you need to crop out some views. Not good at all, but if you want a good camera, a pretty quiet drone, a useful drone that you can do also FPV modes, flights and everything, I think it's a pretty good drone. It's a damn good drone, but I would not use this drone if I want to do FPV racing. So for FPV racing, because it has these protections, and these protections make it effective to wind, and also when it falls down, it has a prop wash, the drone starts to shake. And it doesn't have that power what you need to take off. So, for example, you're falling down and you really need extra power so you don't crash anywhere, so you will not have it. But nonetheless, if you're an ordinary user like me, it's a pretty useful and a high quality drone. I mean, like high quality video quality, transmission quality, battery life. I mean, like battery as how much flight time you have for one single battery. User interference, goggles itself. It's a pretty high quality drone, actually. I don't know what will happen next, but what qualities will be next, but this is a pretty useful drone. If I would recommend Avata 1 or this, I would not even suggest to look at Avata 1, because I had it, and this is day and night compared to Avata. So 300, 200 bucks or euros more, and it really is that worth it. It really is a